This short documentary is about the firing of an original round that was from the Zulu War in 1879 in an original rifle, a Henry Martini, also used in the Zulu War in the late 1870s.
Tell us a little bit about the uniform you're wearing.
The uniform I'm wearing is what the British soldier, infantryman, wore about that time period, both in the Zulu War and the Afghan War. They carried on wearing red tunics until a battle with the Boers in the late, early 1880s, and they went to khaki. So this uniform was from about the Crimean War up until about the 1880s, when they started wearing khaki.
You say this gun is a Henry Martini. Tell us about the gun.
This Henry Martini was picked up by my grandfather's brother during the Boer War at the turn of the 18 and 1900s. The Henry Martini itself was made by Thomas Turner of Fisher Street, Birmingham, who was my great-great-grandfather, who manufactured a lot of these for the British Army and the colonial army.
Is there a special marking on it that
yes,
shows
there
the
is indeed.
Make?
You can see the marking, and so Thomas Turner, Fisher Street, Birmingham.
What is the most famous battle this was used?
The most famous battle that ever took place, probably during the 1800s, in a sense, in Waterloo was, of course, very important, so was the Battle of Clava, but Rorke's Drift is where approximately 120 Welsh infantrymen, dressed very like this, defended themselves against 5,000 Zulu warriors who'd recently picked up a lot of Henry Martinis from a column that they'd wiped out the day before at the Battle of Isandlwana. So Rorke's Drift was an amazing resistance of overwhelming forces for approximately 24 hours, and they were hiding behind mealie bags and walls in an old mission station and a hospital. This is the second cartridge that was issued to the British Army. So the Henry Martini was the second breech-loading rifle issued to the British Army, and the fourth gun since the venerable Brown Bess, which was used probably for 150 or more years. Up until the mid-1850s, they were even used in the Crimean War. Then after the American Civil War, the first cartridge was issued. It's paper. It has the same back as the second cartridge, which was manufactured for the Henry Martini. The first cartridge was used in a breech-loading conversion on the Enfield rifle. This is one. Notice the same back of the cartridge. They were very crudely squashed together. This is how the Henry Martini was loaded. In goes the cartridge. It's a drop lock, and then you close the lock like that. And then the gun is ready to fire. At Rorke's Drift, they say they shot off 20,000 of those rounds. And at night, this barrel started to glow red hot, and sometimes the bullet would go off just as you put it in there because the breech was red hot. It's called a cook-off. Now we're going to see if this 1879 cartridge will fire. It fired. Brilliant! Black powder. That is a sound not heard since 1879. Now I'm going to fire a modern round. There's a company in Texas that produce rounds that can be used in an original Henry Martini. You will notice it doesn't make nearly as much noise as the original black powder round made. Front rank, fire! The target was hit with all 4 bullets. Even the 1879 bullet hit the target beautifully.
Would you tell us a little bit about your outfit and about the gun?
Yes. The clothes I'm wearing are very similar to what they would have worn, as close as we can do it, when they went pheasant and partridge and duck shooting at around the time Jane Austen was writing her books. This is the father of all side-by-side 12-bore or 12-gauge shotguns. It is a Flintlock. It was produced in London about the time of the Battle of Waterloo, or even a little earlier than that. I believe Mr. Dust was making these between the late 1700s up to about the 1820s. So that is the vintage of this beautiful, beautifully made shotgun. This is gold here. Now let us show you the first aspect of how these flintlocks worked. You may have heard that expression, a flash in the pan. Well, I'm now going to prime the pan with powder. Then you lower the striker, you pull the hammer back, and this is a flash in the pan. You ready? Now I'm going to show you how one of these Flintlock 12-bore double-barrel shotguns were loaded, putting the powder and the shot down the barrel. First we take the powder measure, and then we take the powder flask. Now the measure into the measure is set for 82 grains of powder, and when we tip the powder into the barrel with this little funnel, now a grain is an old medieval measure. Apparently it's 7,000 ears of wheat in a pound, and that's how the measure was devised. Now we're going to put the powder in the other barrel by taking the flask again and putting it into the powder measure. Now we take the little funnel and put the powder in the other barrel. And again, we just make sure it's 82 grains. Now we take an over the powder wad and put it into the barrel like so. It's quite tight. And we take another over the powder wad and put it in the other barrel. Now we take the very famous ramrod, known as a ramrod, that's what it's going to do, and it's going to ram the wad down on top of the powder. Then we take the shot measure, and the shot measure we use a shot flask which is actually made of leather, so it's very flexible, and I'm not very experienced at this, so forgive me. And I'm now going to put the shot, without dropping too much all over the floor, into the first barrel, like so. Right. Sorry, that's stuck open. We live and learn. The second barrel. Now we take a paper cardboard over the shot wad. And we take the ramrod again, and we push the wad down over the shot. Then we put the ramrod back where it belongs in the gun, because we're going to need it again. I'm now going to show you how you prime the pan with powder, which makes the gun fire, because the flash in the pan we saw earlier ignites the powder inside the breech. So we have this special applicator for powder to go in the pan, if I can make it work. One. Two. We're now going to pretend we're walking through a field in the countryside and are just about to put up a covey of partridges. So forward we go, and suddenly the partridges get up and I go, and then another one. We're going to see if we can shoot a clay pigeon that Grover has kindly put up his clay pigeon trap, and we're going to see if I can hit a clay pigeon with this 12 gauge double-barreled black powder flintlock. Pull!
Good shot!
I'm now going to fire the other barrel, the right-hand barrel, at another clay that Grover's kindly going to launch. Are we ready? Pull!
Shot over it.
Got one.
That worked.